Good morning, and welcome to A Better World with Julann and Fran. I'm Julann.
And I'm Fran, and our guest today is Charles Kochman. Welcome, Charlie.
Welcome.
Welcome. Good morning.
Good morning. Can you talk a little bit about some of the things that you do to make the world a better place?
Oh, sure. Well, um, I think the most important thing really is just like simple acts of kindness. Um, Trying to acknowledge people who don't often get acknowledged, making eye contact with people when, either they're on the street and asking for money, even if you don't give them anything, or waiters or, service people, cleaning women. I try to just do what I can to acknowledge people. And, I think just on a daily level, that's the just the basic, thing that I do.
Well, that's a beautiful thing to do. And
It
you
is.
never know how much just doing a simple act like that can enlighten a person and uplift a person and cause them then to go on and treat other people in a similar way.
Yeah, I think just seeing people is important, recognizing them, we have, people cleaning staff at work who are or work really hard. I work late hours, so I see them all when they're vacuuming and whatever, and just even get to know their name, which most people never do, and ask, say good evening by name or good night before you leave, and make sure that you circle the building while they're still vacuuming and letting them know that you're heading out. Things like that. I think just seeing people in general.
Yeah. And letting them know that you appreciate what they do, because none of
Yeah,
us could do the things we do without those people behind the scenes, keeping
right,
everything running.
right, for sure.
And often they don't get paid very much.
No.
So acknowledging them and using their name and making them know that you think that they are as important as, the more important people usually are, that really does a lot to uplift them.
Yeah, for sure. I think most people know we sort of lost track of the golden rule and things like that. And, like, oh, don't be mean to a waitress or a waiter because, they'll spit in your food kind of thing. I don't know. To me, that's common sense, but it also feels like, selfish in that like, oh, I don't want it to happen to me. I'm nice to them because I want something in return instead of just, in general recognizing people.
And it's amazing how those little things, like when you let someone go or you hold the door for someone. I mean, some
Mhm.
people are cranky no matter what you do, but how much
Sure.
they appreciate it. And they're so thankful that they're like, oh my God, that was the nicest thing. That's so nice. I let somebody go ahead of me at Costco. We talked about it one time and they were like, oh, that is so nice. People, I mean, that's really not that nice. I mean,
Right.
that's just
It's
common decency, right? She has one thing. I'm going to make her stand on the line behind me. I have 46 things. I don't know.
right.
Letting people turn when they have their blinker on, like the world is, I don't know. It
Yeah.
needs
Well,
a
right
little,
now it's really tough,
it is.
and not to talk politics beyond a certain point, but it's so hard right now because you have to counter all of that negative energy and all that everything. And I was posting and writing and obsessively watching the news. And then I was talking to my doctor who basically, told me that there was nothing that I could personally do that was going to affect anything. I'm not changing any votes. I'm not doing anything. The only thing I could do is make books. I'm a book editor. That's what I do for a living. It's the only thing I'm good at. And I
True.
work on, well, I work on lots of, books for kids as well as for adults or whatever. And that kind of helped, sort of, it was a light bulb moment for me where I realized that the thing that I could do was not posting and, writing a screed against, the current president, but, making books that help people, um, and, I edited a series called Diary of a Wimpy Kid, which is a kids book series, and we sold 300 million. And I travel literally the world with the author. I
Nice.
travel the country and the world. I just went on this big tour down south and see if I can remember all the cities, but we were in let's see, Atlanta, North Carolina, states, I should say, Atlanta, North Carolina, Mississippi, Alabama, and Arkansas.
Wow.
Um, and I never would have taken that tour and gone on those states if not for that opportunity. Um, and those moments are amazing because you're seeing, an author interact with kids on a whole other level. Um, you know, and that's an amazing thing that sort of fills your boat a little bit when you're feeling down, remembering like, all right, I'm working really hard on this book, but the payoff is when this book comes out, all these kids all over the world, literally all over the world, are going to be reading this book and enjoying it and forgetting about whatever they're going through and getting through.
Exactly.
So that's an important part of what I do.
That really is. I know myself, one of my favorite things to do is read. So unfortunately, I make a list of all the things I have to do, and my reward for getting my stuff done is always to take some time out to read. So good for you, Charlie. That's really nice.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, no, I love doing that. And then because of the Wimpy Kid books, we have all kinds of things like stickers and tattoos and whatever. And I have a friend who's a flight attendant, so I give her stickers or tattoos in case there are kids on the flight.
Hmm.
I walk around with them in my bag, so if there's a kid on a train or whatever, I can give them, especially because you see a lot. It's really strange to work on a book and then see kids on the subway reading the book. So, I make it a point when I have that stuff in my bag to give them out, you know. So little things like that make a big difference, I think,
They do.
or even if make a little difference that hopefully has a ripple effect.
Yeah.
And
It's
you said, sorry, you go,
sorry.
you go, Julie.
No, I just want to say kids love stickers. I know that, and to get one from a stranger, and then if you have the opportunity to talk to them and let them know who you are, I mean, that's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's funny you said to a stranger, I'm always aware of, you know, being the strange man giving out, stickers to kids. So I always talk to the parents first,
Right.
more often
Good
than not,
idea.
they're not by themselves.
Right, right.
Right. But you said earlier that editing is you're the only thing at which you're good, which is untrue. You also were in we took an acting class together in high school, and we were in a scene from The Odd Couple together,
Oh
and
my
you were
God.
excellent. You're an
All I
excellent
remember,
actor.
all right, so all I remember about that, you're the only human being on the planet who remembers that, um, was that, and I don't remember being good at all. What I do remember was while I was acting, I touched the radiator, and instead of saying whatever line, I said, "Oh shit," or something like that. Person.
That's
And that
honest.
time,
We like that.
yeah, I don't know if I stayed in character as I can't remember if I was Felix or Oscar even. I can't remember, but yeah, that I don't look at that as like my finest moment, but thank you. I have
But
a lot of
you,
friends who are actors and I admire the craft that they do. I
yes,
definitely
yes.
do not think I'm one of them.
Well, and you're also an author yourself, aren't you?
I've been writing something for a while. I ghostwrite a lot. I rewrite a lot as part of my job. But yeah, I've been working on a book for a while that I'm pretty close to. I won't say being done. I'll never. Well, not that I won't never be done. I'll be done with what I consider a first draft probably this coming year, which is a big deal because I've been working on it for like 30 years.
Oh,
Nice.
wow.
Yeah. So, but I finally figured out a way to, anytime I posted about somebody who passed away or somebody I knew that passed away, I should say specifically, people are always like, oh, you should write a book. And I didn't want to write a book about me. Um, I didn't want to, be the star of these stories because I happen to be the commonality of all of them, but I'm not you know, it's not, I don't want to make it about me. So I figured out a way to do that. And it's kind of a, uh, Sundays with Maury kind of book of things I've learned from people, but um, in a way that I finally figured out how to make it them all connect together. So that's what I've been working on.
That sounds
I had oh yeah, thank you. I had the fortune of not just meeting a lot of people, but having offices next to great people. Like I had the office when I was at Bantam Books next to Ian Ballantyne. And I was told by somebody not to get sucked up into his world and let him let him, sort of pull me in so that I was doing favors for him and things like that. And that's exactly what I did. Um, I was always a kid. If he told me not to touch the stove, I was going to touch it. Um, And, I'm so glad I did because he was an amazing person. Not only was Ian Ballantine the one who invented paperback book publishing, pocketbooks and Ballantine books and uh, paperbacks that Army soldiers would put in their pockets during the war. Um,
Oh,
he was an amazing person who had a great history and he was very kind to me. So, yes, I had to do a lot of favors for him, mailing packages or Xeroxing or research back then before there were computers. I had to go to the library and look things up and Xerox
Things up.
them. But he would take me to Top of the Sixes at the time, where our office was, and take me to lunch once a month. And then he would tell me all these stories, and then I'd go back to my desk and on yellow legal pad, I'd write them all down.
Cool.
So during COVID, I went through all of those and typed up a lot of things that were relevant to what I'm working on. And he became a large part of it. It's sort of a confluence of when a couple of different people in my life passed away, including our friend David Weatherspoon, who uh, went by the name of Hanaki Zedek when he moved to Minneapolis. And, sort of looking at all these people and what I learned from them and all that. But yeah, the opportunity to have an office next to Ian Ballantine, you could either sort of, I won't say take advantage because that sounds like I was doing it for advantage, and I wasn't. I was more like there was this opportunity there of, getting to know this person, and why would I not want to get to know him when he had all this history that he was willing to share. So anyway, that's what I've been working on.
That's pretty cool. That's a gift because a lot of people are rushing through life and they're so busy doing their own thing and what's important to them that they don't take the time to listen to someone. So that's a
Yeah.
great, you know.
Yeah, I think part of my job has also been working with people on either their last book or books toward the end of their life that were really meaningful and getting to know them really well. And it's hard to lose people when you're some many of your friends are older, and you unfortunately, part of it is getting to know them, spending time with them, making a real difference, hopefully in their last years or whatever, and then unfortunately having to see them go, which is really hard. But it's a long list of people that I grew up reading, like Jules Feiffer or Al Jaffe, or different people like that who really shaped me, and then getting to become friends with them is a whole surreal thing, and then getting to edit them is just another crazy thing that doesn't really make sense.
mhm.
Cool.
That is very cool. And I know this does not align with your beliefs, but I believe all of those people about whom you wrote, because they really are beautiful tributes, know that you wrote those things about them and they're smiling big wherever they are. They really appreciate you keeping their memory alive by
Oh, I
writing
appreciate
those
that.
things. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I
Um,
appreciate it. I don't know. It's funny. I tried, and a lot of it happened during COVID, where I was, you know, not. I mean, we were all home. Um, but one of my writers, this guy Denny O'Neil, who was a great writer, who I grew up reading, and again, he wrote amazing Batman comics when I worked at DC. I got to know him. I got to be his editor. I got to be his friend. His son called to tell me that he had passed and to share the news online. And I started with that one where I sat down at my computer and I gave myself a half hour to write something. And all of these tributes I do in a one burst of just, sitting down and giving myself half hour to an hour to just write, and do it first um, without looking up anything, just like, writing a quick, like, here are the points
Right.
I want to get across, and then filling in the blanks. But yeah, people responded really well to them. And, that sort of part of the reason I did this was everybody was like, I know I had a front row seat to some of these people in a way that most people don't. So how do I share that in a way that, again, doesn't become about me, but becomes about them and does pays tribute to them and what I learned from them, really. That's the most important part.
yes, and all of the ones that I've seen anyway, with you absolutely accomplished that. You made it about that person, what they contributed to you and what they contributed to the world, how they made the world a better place. So
Yeah.
that's a wonderful thing. And sometimes I think even when you go to write about somebody who has passed, and I know this again does not align with your beliefs, that person influences you and helps you to remember times when you were together and what those times meant and, things like that.
Yeah, it's funny, I don't know what my beliefs are anymore. I'm culturally Jewish, raised pretty much an atheist, and still pretty much feel like I'm an atheist. And I don't really, I sort of go by the Stephen Hawking belief in the God of science and math, um, because the universe is so big and unknowable. And the more we learn from the Hubble or James Webb, especially the more it contradicts what we thought we knew, which just shows that, there's something infinitely greater. But I don't believe in a monotheistic, you know, man in the clouds, whatever. I mean, I understand where that comes from, early man looking up at the sky when there was no, ambient light you know, from electricity. The sky was really powerful, and you look up at the clouds and you imagine your ancestors there because they left you and that's where they are and whatever. But I remember going through, clouds in a plane the first time when I was a kid and realizing, I was either killing a bunch of my ancestors or, that that very earthbound sense of the world and the universe and the cosmos didn't make sense. But I do believe in something, and that's a larger, probably not for this podcast, but a larger conversation of like, there are things I can't explain for sure. I mean, and then there are the sort of unknowable stuff, which I'm fine with not knowing because you don't have to know everything to appreciate it. Um, and if I look at a night sky or whatever, I don't need to, or the Milky Way, I don't need to understand it or know where it came from or ascribe it to one being or one person or one godlike entity. So,
Just enjoy it.
yeah, it's like, I forgot the number, but the three of us are three out of a very finite number of people who have ever been born that we know of. And that's a miracle,
Okay.
so, that moment, the moments we're sharing this moment now, or the, uh, where things are headed for all of us. I mean, that's unknowable, obviously, but, you sort of struck the human lottery. So you got to make the most of it however we can. That's what I try to do.
Yeah,
And you should be very proud of yourself. I think you're doing a wonderful job.
me too.
Um, Thank you. You both have been good friends and supporters of me over my whatever this journey is. But yeah, especially the last bunch of years.
And I know you have not had, it's not like you had a perfect, perfectly easy life. And here you are being this nice person. I know you've experienced trauma in your life as well.
Yeah, but I mean, find the person who hasn't, right? I don't think anybody goes through life without loss. That's part of it. From the moment we're born, we know that we're going to lose our parents, or we fear we're going to lose our parents, and then that day comes, or for some of us about to come, and then you deal with that, or losing a sibling or a friend or a mentor or whatever. So yeah, I mean, I've had it easy compared to most for sure, and I would not consider that I've suffered more than most for sure. But yeah, I mean, you sort of, I don't know. I try to take all this. Um, I think one of the things about being as you get older is that things matter less, you know, and then things matter more. So that's
Exactly. Right.
it's a contradictory statement, but it's like the
I
things that
agree.
matter a lot, and the things that don't, you realize like I don't sweat it, you know.
That's wisdom, Charlie. We're wise now. You see?
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
We talk about embracing the suck. See, it's easy to be
Oh, there you
grateful
go.
for good times, but when things are rough and you're in traffic and you're mad and you forgot your briefcase and you spilled your coffee and you try to embrace the suck, take a breath, take a minute, and, I don't know, be grateful
Hmm.
for a paper towel or whatever it is that's getting you through the moment.
Right.
And Julie, you said something, I think a few times, that you see life as not, you see things as not happening to you, but happening for you, which I
Right.
think is another great way of doing things. There's always some reason things are happening.
Yeah.
And we'll get to see, we might get to see why they happened, one hopes. Well, Charlie, thank you so much for doing this
Really.
show and for being the person that you are.
Mm.
Jewel, do you have any more questions?
No, it's just so nice to see you. You know what I mean? Like
Um,
those friends we had from back in the day,
yeah.
so many years could go past and you'd feel like you were sitting next to each other on the steps in the schoolyard, you know?
Oh yeah.
So thank
Yeah.
you.
There was. Oh, thank you. I mean, I look back on those times as like some of the best. I don't know about you guys, but
Yeah, it was good times.
often my dreams will take me back, to that neighborhood and the schoolyard and that group for sure. Um,
Yeah, we were
you know,
definitely lucky to have those friendships, you know?
oh yeah, absolutely. No, I'm very grateful to you both. Thank you for having me on this. I hope it was worth it to whoever
It was
listens.
so good. Thank
It
you. Thank
absolutely
you.
was. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. So if there are no more questions, thank you for joining us for another episode of A Better World with Julann and Fran and our guest, Charles Kochman. And please like and share this video and please join us again, won't you? So long for now.
Bye.